Hey guys, it's Prince. Thank you for stopping by to watch this video, and we're going to get right into it. Today's video is going to be about men's mental health. Now, just a disclaimer, it's going to include topics of suicide, depression, and anxiety. At some points, it may get a bit uncomfortable, but bear with me. I think it's going to be a pretty good video. So I plan on breaking this video into 3 parts. The first part's just going to be some statistics that I found on men's mental health. The second part is going to be a couple of stories in my life in relation to men's mental health. And then the third is going to be what I hope this video accomplishes or does for men. So to start off, we'll just go over some of the statistics that I found in my research. According to the American Institute for Boys and Men, in the year 2023, 49,316 Americans committed suicide. Of those over 49,000 Americans, 39,045 of them were men. That is almost 80% of all suicides that year. To put that in perspective, between the ages of 20 and 34, suicide was the second leading cause of death behind what the CDC labels as accidents and unintentional injuries. That means in the year 2023, a suicide occurred roughly every 11 minutes, or 136 times a day. And since men made up 80% of the suicides that year, for every 1 woman that succumbed from mental health, 4 men suffered the same fate. Now, at this point, you may be asking yourself, Prince, why are you making this video? I'm making this video for a couple reasons, and I'll tell you why. So, about 1.5 years ago, I met a couple guys playing video games. We'll call them Jake and Christian for the sake of this story. Now, Jake and Christian actually knew each other in real life. They stayed in Idaho, and they were pretty funny guys. You know, we hung out and we played video games for a little while. We eventually exchanged numbers, and we would text, call each other outside of the game, and you know, it was pretty fun. They were cool people. Anyways, as the year went on, we just slowly stopped talking as much. You know, our lives just going separate directions. Fast forward to July of last year, Christian texted me at like 1:06 in the morning, and he said Jake took a bunch of pills and shot himself. He was hospitalized for 2 days before they decided to pull the plug. He was 20 years old. Now, the next story that I'd like to share with you takes place in high school. Now, we'll go back to my freshman year, so it's 2015. I met this guy in choir. For the sake of this story, we'll call him Nathan. Nathan was a super funny and goofy guy. Everyone knew him as like, you know, to be a funny guy. So me and him quite naturally hit it off. He eventually met my cousin, and all 3 of us, we would hang out a lot in high school. He honestly made high school just much more enjoyable because, you know, it's always fun laughing and stuff in high school, joking around. We got in trouble together. We cracked jokes together. I mean, we did everything together. We hung out outside of school. I mean, we were good friends. But similar to the last story, after we graduated, we slowly started to drift apart. Now, I still hung out with Nathan every now and again for a couple years after I graduated, but eventually we just stopped talking. Anyways, fast forward to last year, 2025, my cousin said, hey, Nathan just moved into my apartment complex. And he said he was still his normal self, you know, goofy, whatever. But we didn't hang out like that. Anyways, at the time of this recording, yesterday on January 8th, 2026, my cousin called me, and before I could even pick up the phone and say, hey, he said that Nathan just killed himself. He said that he was talking to Nathan maybe like 5 minutes before he committed suicide. He said that he can sense that something was off. He didn't know exactly what, but he could just tell that something was off. He wasn't his normal self. My cousin said, hey, if you need anything, you have my number, you know where I stay at. You're more than welcome to come over or talk, whatever. And he said, yeah, man, yeah, I will. Thank you. 10 minutes after that interaction, our high school friend laid there deceased in his car. He was 26. Now, the last story that I would like to share with you guys today is actually my story. And this may come to a shock to the people that know me in real life, but twice in my life, I almost killed myself. One time when I was a kid, and the other time when I was 24. In both of those instances, I was just in really dark spots in my life, and I just didn't feel like that there was any need to continue going on. I just genuinely didn't feel the drive to keep going, and things were just very dark. I guess I was just desperate for meaning or attention or love or whatever it was at the time. I understand the struggles of men's mental health. It's a constant battle even today. going through the ebbs and flows of life and the stress of being a man and whatnot. Sometimes I feel like as men that we're expected to never show emotion and always be dominant and assertive and forthcoming. We just don't have any room to actually vent properly and show our emotions. I mean, we're told since we're kids to man up and stop crying and you need to suck it up. We never have that chance as adults to properly vent and properly talk to somebody. And I think that culmination of stress is starting to take a toll and is really starting to show in today's generation of men. And even after all that, I haven't even mentioned my coworker that I used to have that committed suicide last year, or how all of my friends basically have said at least once in their life they've thought about committing suicide, and a very small few of them have even said that they've tried to commit suicide. I don't think this is normal. This is not normal. This should not be the norm. So I say that to say this to any young men out there right now struggling with mental health. I get it. It fucking sucks. It sucks being a young man sometimes, and I completely understand where you're coming from. But that's exactly why I'm making this video right now. I'm here to tell you that you're not alone, okay? I promise you're not alone. I guarantee you that somewhere in your social circle, whether it's a coworker, one of your friends, somebody has felt what you're feeling. And I think it's worth the shot to at least reach out to somebody that you trust and talking to them. To me, it's completely normal for you to understand your feelings and want to feel like talking to somebody, want to feel like you're being seen. To me, that's part of being a man. Recognizing that you are having a problem or that you're struggling with something, and knowing that, hey, this is bigger than me. I think I need a little bit of help on this. To me, that's as manly as it can get. So I asked myself, writing this, why not start today? Let's normalize this today. Let's make it normal for a man to talk about his mental health, right? Let's make it normal for you to show your emotions to your close friends. I mean, there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. I think we should have those hard topics today. That way we can have an easier tomorrow. And above all else, let's not shame those that are looking for help, but welcome them with support and understanding. Doesn't matter if it's your neighbor, coworker, family member, or even your wife. To me, talking to somebody is 1,000 times better than suffering in silence. In my particular instance, when I was 24, I have to attribute my woman to saving my life. I mean, I was in a very dark spot, and I'm so glad that she was able to be there for me and talk to me, because I may not be here right now if it wasn't for that. And there's so many things that I've experienced in this past year that I'm super grateful for. And the sad reality is I just wouldn't be able to experience those things if I weren't here right now. And I'm sure that there's a lot of fallen men that had so much to live for or so much to look forward to if they were just to stay alive and not succumb to their mental health. One thing I try to remind myself constantly of: good days wouldn't feel so good if the bad days didn't feel so bad. What I try to do is enjoy the good days and embrace the bad days. If you made it this far, I would really appreciate it if you could do one thing for me, and that's text anybody in your contacts, whether it's in your contacts, your Instagram, wherever. Just say, hey man, haven't talked to you in a while, how are you doing? Just anybody. It can be a family member, it could be a friend that you used to talk to. You never know if that one text can change their day. I'm sure that if you're watching this, that there are some days that you've had that you were like, man, if I were to get a text message right now, it'd really make my day. It'd help me out. So if you could do that for me, I'd greatly appreciate that. Guys, thanks for watching the video. If you want, you can leave a comment down below and I'll try to reply to every last one of you guys. If you want to talk about anything, I'm open for discussion. Also, all the resources and links and hotlines that I use, I'm going to be linking in the description box below. So if you want to use any of those resources, they'll be there for you to use. Once again, guys, thanks for watching the video. And for all the men who have fallen from the pain and suffering of life, I wish you safe travels into the beyond. Thanks.